By the way, starting today, vaccination day, National Vaccination Day. So I hope that if you're not still vaccinated, you go get your vaccines na this week. Okay? So yun. So ano na lang, kung wala pang bakuna ha, magpabakuna na. Kasi for your safety na rin yan. And of course, if you're going to SM, pag pupunta kayo ng SM, kailangan may vaccine na card na rin. So yeah, I was in SM last time. Okay. So anyway, we are now on chapter 9, and just as I said earlier, this is a very short chapter. Like, it just contains few slides, okay? Less than 10 slides overall, no? Excluding the title page. So, we are going to talk about aldehydes and ketones, okay? So, aldehyde and ketones are very similar to one another, because of just one type of bond that they possess, okay? And we're going to take a look on that and what are the physical properties of our aldehydes and ketones, okay? So yun lang. So overall, let's look into the structure, ano yung bond na present in both of them, and what are some of the common examples of it and their corresponding physical properties. Okay? So yun. So aldehyde, no, contains this functional group C double bond O, no. So alam niyo naman siguro tawag sa C double bond O. It is called carbonyl. Okay? So, in an aldehyde, sabi dito, it contains a functional group that is composed of a carbonyl group attached to a hydrogen. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, pag may nakita kang ganito, yan ay aldehyde. Whatever itong nasa left na to, as long as yung dulo niya, C double bond O H, that is an aldehyde. Okay? So yan. And some of the simplest aldehyde will be the methanol or the formaldehyde. Okay? Parehas hydrogen na sa paligid niya. Okay? So that is the methanol. And then the next one will be the ethanol. Okay? Ethanol or acetaldehyde na. So mapapansin mo, yung aldehyde functional group mo, nasa dulo lang siya. Okay? So, never mo makikita yung aldehyde sa gitna ng carbon chain mo. Kasi baka inisip mo, ito yung carbon chain. Tapos may nakita kang double bond O dyan. Hindi yan aldehyde. Why? Kasi dapat sa aldehyde, may nakadugtong na hydrogen. Okay? So, it cannot be somewhere in the middle of your carbon chain. Rather, it should be at the end. Okay? Yan. So, kailangan nakaganon siya. Always, ang aldehyde nasa dulo. Okay? Pwedeng nasa left na dulo, pwedeng nasa right na dulo, as long as nasa dulo siya. Okay? So, yan. So, your aldehydes are carbonyl groups with hydrogen atom. And again, they will always be found at the end. Okay? Paano naman pag nasa gitna? O, yun yung ketone. Okay? So, yan. So, yan. That will be the ketone. But anyway, before we proceed there, methanol is the simplest aldehyde. And just as I said, methanol is one of the byproducts, no? When you ingest methanol. Okay? So, yan. So, kapag nag-ingest ka ng methanol, CH3OH, ano mangyayari? It will get oxidized into methanol. Okay? Formaldehyde. Basically, parang you're drinking formalin na rin. But the most dangerous product will be your um, formic acid. Okay? Because this will irritate your cells. Okay? Naalala nyo siya, no? So, ito yun. So, this is methanol. Okay? It is methanol kasi it has a carbonyl and a hydrogen attached together. Okay? So, yun. We have a question. Ano po tawag pag nasa gitna? Ayun yung ketone na. So, yun yung nasa next slide. Next question, sir. Sir, si aldehyde po, yung mga terminal carbonyl. Yeah, no. But basta, just make sure na hydrogen yung nasa katabi niya. Okay? Kasi baka mamaya, kunwari ito, baka mamaya kasi ganito, tapos maisip niya, ano yan, aldehyde yan. That is not aldehyde, no? Okay? Ang aldehyde, dapat may hydrogen sa dulo niya. Okay? So, for example, ayan. This one is an aldehyde, no? Kasi may hydrogen doon sa dulo na hindi pinapakita. Okay? So again, still very important yung skills natin dun sa pagbilang ng hydrogens. Okay? So isang tingin mo lang sa molecule, you should be able to see if there is a hydrogen or not. Okay? Paano mo gagawin yan? Bilangin mo lang yung bonds around it. No? Kapag apat na yung bonds around that carbon, walang hydrogen doon. Okay? So for example, you have this molecule here. So, ilan na yung bonds dito sa carbon na to? Isa, dalawa, tatlo, apat. So, walang hydrogen siyang katabi. However, for this one, ilan yung bonds niya? Isa, dalawa, tatlo. So, ibig sabihin, yung isang kulang, that is for hydrogen. Okay? So, and this is an aldehyde. Okay? So, ganun lang. You should be able to see, no? Kung may hydrogen ba siya sa katabi niya or wala. Okay? Especially if it is drawn in a line angle formula. Okay. So aldehyde is in a sense terminal carbonyl, but make sure na may hydrogen siyang katabi. Okay. So yun, always double check lang. Okay. So that's our aldehyde, no? And yun nga, yung mga carbonyl na nasa gitna ng carbon chain mo, tawag natin doon ay ketones. Okay? Siguro familiar tayo sa ketone, no? Kasi one of the simplest ketone, okay, will be your acetone. Yun yung panlinis natin ng koko. Okay? So, ako dati gumagamit ako acetone para, di ko alam kung bakit, pero malamig kasi. Ayan. Nilalagay ko lang siya sa daliri ko. Tapos lumalamig siya. Ayan. So, ketone is a functional group that contains carbonyl group, okay, bonded to two carbon groups, okay? So, kung ang nasa dulo ay aldehyde, for example, ito, so this is an aldehyde. This one naman is a ketone. If your carbonyl is in the middle, then that is a ketone. Okay? Ito. Sige, answer natin mamaya yung ketone diet. Okay? So that is the ketone. Okay? And the simplest ketone will be the propanone. Okay? Propanone or also known as acetone. Bakit siya lang yung simplest ketone? Wala bang methanone? Okay. So walang isang carbon na ketone kasi tandaan nyo, kapag isang carbon lang yan, it will be aldehyde. Kasi puro hydrogens na sa paligid niya. Hindi rin pwede yung hindi rin naman pwede yung dalawang carbon kasi may hydrogen pa rin siya on the right, no? So, basically, the simplest ketone will be the 3 carbons talaga na, okay? So, the propanone. Kasi kapag lang yan, 2 carbons, then may hydrogen doon sa katabi ni carbonyl. Kahit anong gawin, manipulation, may hydrogen doon sa katabi ni carbonyl. So, the simplest ketone will be your acetone, okay? Kasi siya lang yung may tatlong carbon groups, okay? And then from that, you can extend it to 4 carbon, 5 carbon, 6 carbon, so on and so forth, okay? So, yun lang. So, just keep in mind that for acetaldehyde, aldehyde, iba pala yung acetaldehyde. So, for aldehyde, it just contains a carbonyl with a hydrogen on the right. And for ketones, it just contains carbonyl with 2 carbons on each side. Okay? So, ganun lang tatandaan nyo. Pag puro carbon nasa paligid ni carbonyl, then that's ketone. Otherwise, kung may hydrogen yan, that is an aldehyde. Okay? So, yun. Okay, so I will draw some molecules and then tell me if yan ay aldehyde or ketone. Okay? So most likely ganito lang din format ng inyong magiging quiz dito. Tell me if it is an aldehyde or a ketone. Okay? So let's draw some molecules. Okay. Okay, is this aldehyde or ketone? Is this aldehyde or ketone? So it is ketone. Okay, so good. Ayan. So is this aldehyde or ketone? Okay. Tignan maigi. This is ayan, this is aldehyde. Okay. So aldehyde yan kasi tatlong bonds meron siya. Ibig sabihin yung isang kulang for hydrogen yan. Okay? So ganun lang, no? Tignan nyo lang yung lines that will tell you how many bonds you already have. And then kapag kinulang yan, then most probably the remaining bond will be dedicated for hydrogen na. So ganun. Only OrChem can do that. OrChem students can do that. Okay? Share ko lang experience ko with this one. This is an aldehyde called benzaldehyde. Okay, kasi yan ay aldehyde ng benzene. So, benzaldehyde. Ang bango niya, grabe. Super bango. So, super aromatic talaga siya. Kasi, ano ba experiment namin dito? Anyway, that's OrChem experiment. So, nasa bote lang siya. I thought it will be, wala siyang amoy like many other chemicals na. Pero pagkabukas ko, grabe yung smell niya. Parang amoy cherry siya. Okay. And actually, it is really used talaga, no? Especially in candies, no? Aromatic compound siya. Kasi may benzene ring. Yeah. Okay. Ayun. So, aromatic kaya siguro may amoy. Ayun. So, yeah. Ginagamit siya for candies, no? Pampabango. Okay. Pag tinignan mo yung likod, benzaldehyde. But to a very minimal amount lang. Kasi, if maraming amount ng benzaldehyde ilagay mo, nako, super bango niya talaga. As in, kumakapit sa damit yung amoy. Mabango naman, kaya nag-enjoy din kami. Yan. So, yeah. That's benzaldehyde na. Nakakamiss tuloy itong benzaldehyde na. What else? Hindi naman. But of course, you still have to be very, you still have to be very careful. Okay. This one, tell me if this is an aldehyde or a ketone. Ayan. So is this an aldehyde or a ketone? Okay. This is ketone. Okay. So yan. Very good. Ketone yan. Kasi kapansin mo, dalawang carbon nasa paligid ni carbonyl. Okay, so it is indeed a ketone. Always remember, kapag yan ay cyclic, walang aldehyde dyan. Okay, especially if yung carbonyl mo nakadugtong sa cyclic. Okay, so wala kang makikitang aldehyde yan kasi ang left and right sides ng carbonyl mo will be carbon atoms always. Okay. So, yan. So, they are ketones. Okay. So, now let's take a look into some common examples of aldehydes and ketones that we encounter every day. So, we have the formaldehyde, and you know it is used as preservative. Okay. Ala, may spot na yung aking second monitor. Oh my God. Bibili na ako ng second monitor. Anyway, so yan. So, methanol or formaldehyde, it is used as preservative, no? Ito, mabaho yan. Bakit ko alam? Kasi dati pag face-to-face, may mga biology student like you, sa PUP to. Pag dumaan ka sa hallway nila, amoy formaldehyde. Kasi may mga preserved na bodies, no? Hindi naman sa tao, no? Animals, no? Pero yeah, it stinks so bad, no? Na kami na mismo lumalayo sa bio students. No? Pero yeah, hopefully one day you will be able to deal with formaldehydes, no? Especially in preserving bodies so that you can see the tissues, no? You can dissect them well, no? So yan. So you will most likely encounter this again. Ayan. And then you have your ketone bodies, okay? So after ko i-discuss yung isa-isa neto, daan tayo sa ketone bodies. So ketone bodies, these are some of the byproducts of ketogenesis in our body. And later daanan natin yung kanyang health importance, okay? And then the acetone, ito yung simplest ketone natin, 3 carbon chain. It is used for nail polish, no? And then it is also one of the ketone bodies produced, no? When our body undergoes ketogenesis process, okay? And then we have here the ethanol, acetaldehyde, okay? So when ethanol, okay, I think familiar na rin kayo with acetaldehyde kasi example natin siya nung alcohols eh. When our ethanols, okay, CH3, C double bond, alcohol pala. Okay, so this is ethanol. Ganito na lang. So this is ethanol. When it is in your body, it gets oxidized into aldehyde muna. Okay? So always ganon, aldehyde muna. And then maging ketone yan. Okay? So yan. So apparently, when your ethanol turns into an aldehyde, ethanol, it makes your body dizzy, no? Okay? Kumbaga, parang ito yung hangover drug talaga, okay? So when your ethanol turns into al- aldehyde, no? So yung ethanol, it is responsible with your yung pagiging dizzy nyo for after drinking several alcohols na. And then of course, it will be converted further into ketones na. Okay? So magiging yan, ketone body. Okay? So yan, pero usually hanggang aldehyde lang siya. Okay? So yan, since we already had we already had an idea about ketone bodies. So let me just share, no. Hinanap ko yung PowerPoint eh. Let me just share some ideas about ketone bodies, okay? I think this is also important, no? Especially kapag nag-biochemistry kayo. At least you already have an idea. Okay? So I'm just looking for the PowerPoint. It has something to do with the ketone diet, okay? Okay, or the keto diet. Okay, ketone lang din 'yan. And saan ba sila nakukuha, no? So discuss lang natin siya briefly. Okay? At asan kaya yung PowerPoint? Anyway, let me just pull off the PowerPoint. So, feeling ko pag nag-biochem ako next year, so makikita nyo uli ako. Pero I don't handle biochem that much. Onti lang biochem na hinahandle ko. Okay. I guess this is it. Ayan. So, ano meron sa ketones na? Okay. So, ito yung sa biochem namin. Okay. So, when you ingest lipids in your body, okay, lipids as in yung mga taba-taba, no? Kunwari nagsisig ka, ayan. So, kapag ikaw ay nag-ingest ng, let's say, sisig, no? So, mapuputol-putol yan into smaller chain, eventually into what's called ayan, acetyl coenzyme A. So, yung ating, let's say, ito, palmitate, no? It will be chopped into many portions until you produce acetyl coenzyme A. And acetyl coenzyme A is one of the chemicals needed in the Krebs cycle. Okay? Krebs cycle, notorious yan, but yes, it is important. Okay? So, yan. So, yung acetyl coenzyme A, pag naputol-putol na yung lipids nyo, papasok na yan sa Krebs cycle. Okay? And then, papasok din siya eventually to electron transport chain and oxidative phosphorylation. Okay? So, let's talk about ketone bodies, no? And the ketogenesis. Okay? Pero ketone bodies lang. So, just as yung nakwento natin kanina, oopsie. So, ketone bodies are ito. Yun sila basically yung mga ketones sa bodies natin, such as acetone, okay? The acetoacetic acid and the beta hydroxybutyric acid, okay? So, actually, itong dalawa lang yung considered as ketone. This one is not a ketone, pero nilagay na rin siya dyan. Okay? This is a carboxylic acid kasi. Pero, kino-consider na rin siya as ketone bodies anyway. So, basta itong dalawa, indeed, these are two ketones. This one is not a ketone kasi you have a carbonyl with an OH. Pag ganon, carboxylic acid yan. Okay? Remember your chapter 6. Okay? Kapag may carbonyl na may OH, carboxylic yan. But ito, ketone yan kasi dalawang carbon lang nasa gilid. Okay? So ito, this is also carboxylic acid, no? Kasi you have a carbonyl with an OH. Okay? So yan. So ketone bodies, sila ay mga byproduct of lipid metabolism. Okay? And tatlo sila. So you have the acetoacetate, beta hydroxybutyrate, and the acetone. Okay? So, yan. Ito yung mga napoproduce when you do keto diet, no? Ano ba nangyayari sa keto diet? You ingest too much lipids, no? Binabawasan mo yung carbs, no? Kumbaga, in terms of energy, it will kind of make sense. In terms of energy lang, okay? Kasi, when you convert your sugar into energy, 32 ATP lang yung mapoproduce. However, if you degrade your fatty acids, no, you will produce a lot. No? For example, this is just icosanoid, no, 20 carbons, and it produces 163 ATP. Times 3 mo yan kasi in your fatty acid, tatlo yung inyong ganito. Okay. So, times 3 pa. So, super daming energy talaga, no? And yung ang tawag dito, yung logic ng iba, okay, sabi nila, since marami namang energy yung ketone bodies natin or mga lipids, edi yun na lang i-digest natin. Huwag na tayong mag-carbohydrates, okay? So, kung gusto mo daw pumayat, edi mag-keto diet ka. So, maraming maraming problems, okay? So, super daming problems dun pa lang sa idea na i-give up mo yung carbohydrates, no? Why? Because carbohydrate is essential, no, to the body. Okay? Tatlo na yan, maraming metabolic processes. You have the carbohydrate metabolism, which will undergo glycolysis. You have the lipid metabolism, ito yon, which will eventually form acetyl coenzyme A. And then you have your protein metabolism, which will eventually form acetyl coenzyme A. And yun, pag give up mo carbohydrates mo, hindi na talaga magiging balance yung diet mo. Okay? So, even though yung carbs, alam natin, nagiging glycogen yan pag hindi ginagamit. No? Glycogen, which together with some lipids, pwede siya maging bilbil natin. Okay? So, if you are really cutting off your bilbil, huwag niyo sisihin yung carbohydrates. Kasi kailangan mo rin mag-exercise, no? Yung kasi yung problem with the modern health enthusiasts, no? They think that consuming one substance will be the answer to everything, no? They think that undergoing keto diet will help them cut the weight, no? Kasi puro energy siya. Yes, puro energy yan. However, it will come to a certain cost, no? Number one is that since you are consuming too much fat, all the fat molecules has to go to liver for processing. Lahat ng mga fats na kinakain natin, dadaan siya sa liver for processing. Okay? And if na-overwork yung liver mo, you will eventually have a fatty liver. Okay? Fatty liver. So, tataba yung liver mo. And usually, ang fatty liver ay observe lang sa mga alcoholic, no? Yung mga, ano, yung mga notorious talaga sa inuman, like parang everyday may inuman. So, yun, sila ay prone sa fatty liver and then cirrhosis, no? Pero if you are taking keto diet without without any advice from nutritionists and doctors, malaking problem 'yan, 'no? Kasi magugulat body mo, "Uy, ba't ang dami mong kinakaing sisig? Ba't ang dami mong kinakain na na lipids na?" So, ma-overwork yung liver mo, resulting to a fatty liver, okay? Pangalawa, we have this diabetes called diabetic ketoacidosis, okay? So, it is a sort of diabetic na dahil sa rise ng ketone bodies, no? Ayun. And then we also have this thing called ketoacidosis, no? Because apparently, one of the ketone products is acidic, no? Actually, dalawa pala. So, you have your acetoacetic acid and your beta-hydroxybutyric acid. So, yung dalawang ketone bodies na to, acidic siya in nature. Okay? So, normally, may ganyan talaga sa katawan ng tao. But if you ingest too much lipids, dumadami siya lalo. And kapag dumami yung acids, maa-acidosis ka talaga. Okay? Why is that dangerous? No? It is dangerous kasi if it is uncontrolled, then it can really alter your pH, no? Blood pH. And sabi nga ni Dr. Mike, no, kung kilala niyo siya. So the blood pH is maintained to be at 7.35 to 7.45 lang. It should not go beyond that. Okay? Pero dahil marami tayong mapuproduce na ganito when we just undergo lipid metabolism without any advice, okay? Yun, baka maging uncontrolled yun, and undergoing ketoacidosis will actually be kind of dangerous, no? Because remember, kailangan may homeostasis tayo, kailangan balance lahat, 'di ba? Okay. So if you produce too much acids, then that's dangerous, no? Worst case scenario, it can destroy the proteins in your body, which may result to death. Okay. So ganun. So you really have to be careful, no, when you are committing to a certain diet. Okay? You always need to look for advice. Okay? So ganito yung mangyayari sa biochem niyo. Ayan. And don't worry, I have a playlist on this and share ko siya sa inyo. Okay? Para makapag-study din kayo in advance. Okay? So, yan. So, again, keto diet, pwede siya i-advise. But again, kailangan advice ng doktor. Hindi porket nakita nyo si artista na nagkiketone diet, na keto diet, magagano na rin kayo. No. There are several implications on that. Okay? And gaya nga ng sinasabi always ng doktor, hindi naman kailangan mag-diet talaga. Okay? Kailangan mo rin mag-exercise. Okay? So yun, if you just eat and eat without even moving, you will still end up depositing all the foods into your storage. Okay? So kung gusto mo mawala yung ating mga bilbil, no? Ako kasi meron onte. So kung gusto mo mawala yung inyong mga bilbil, you have to do exercise, no? So yeah, never forget exercise. Okay? So yan. And so there's no miracle drug, no, in diet. Okay? Ang meron lang exercise. Puro back pains pa. Ay, iba na 'yan. Kailangan mo na talaga mag-exercise. Pero ako kasi hindi rin ako nag-exercise. Ayun. Okay lang sa akin, nagpapataba ako, yung payat ko kaya. So, gusto ko kasi magkalaman. So, hindi ako nag-exercise. Although dati nag-exercise ako. Pero dahil sa pandemic, then my movements are very limited. So yeah, maybe after the pandemic na, I'll commit again. Okay, so yun. Again, yung ketone bodies, no? So again, they are natural byproducts in the body, but dumadami siya if you undergo keto diet, no? Kaya nga ketone, ketone bodies. Pag nagki-keto diet ka, dumadami siya. Okay? Um, the presence of ketone bodies is okay naman sa body. Nagagamit yan actually even in the brain, okay? Yung beta hydroxybutyric acid, nagagamit yan sa brain actually for energy. Pero if there's too much of it, no, it can result into several health complications such as fatty liver, which I think pwede yun mag-lead sa cirrhosis. Confirm nyo na lang. Okay. Fatty liver, ketoacidosis, and diabetic ketoacidosis. No? So, maraming health issues na pwede mag-arise, no? If the diet wasn't really thoroughly looked upon. No? Kailangan kasi when a nutritionist prescribe you a certain diet, kailangan may copy siya ng health status mo. Otherwise, delikado. Okay? So, yun lang. So, basta ang advice ko lang, if you are thinking of diets, no, tignan mo muna sarili mo. Baka okay naman yung BMI mo, no? Baka okay ka naman talaga overall. Or, pwede naman siguro madaan sa exercise, no? Ano yung mga exercise na pwede gawin sa bahay? Maghugas ng plato. Kasi gumagalaw-galaw yung body mo nun, di ba? Kaya magwalis or magmop, no? So, ganun. Tumulong na lang sa bahay. Kasi exercise din naman yan. Okay? So, yan. Okay. So, that will be some of your common aldehydes and ketones. Okay? So, yan. And then, let's now take a look into the physical property. Okay? So, you know that carbon and oxygen have kind of huge electronegativity difference. So, carbon is 2.5, oxygen is 3.5 in electronegativity. So, if you subtract that, you will get an electronegativity difference of 1. And having electronegativity difference of 1 makes this carbonyl group fall into a polar bond. So, polar to. Okay? Polar siya, ibig sabihin, polar yung ating aldehydes and ketones. Hahalo sila sa tubig. Okay? So, yan. And the oxygen will bear the partial negative sign and then the carbon will be the partial positive sign. Okay? So, yan. Okay? So, even though hindi niya kaya mag-hydrogen bonding, it can accept hydrogen bonding. Okay? So, hindi niya kaya mag-hydrogen bonding na. Ang kaya niya lang gawin is dipole-dipole. Okay? So, that is what I meant by an accept na. Okay, so ang kaya niya lang dipole-dipole, pero hydrogen bonding, hindi. Ano ba kailangan kasi pag gusto mo mag-hydrogen bonding? Kailangan yung hydrogen attach mismo sa oxygen. But in the case of our aldehydes, yung hydrogen, sa carbon siya nakadugtong. So, hindi pwede. So, you will expect that aldehydes and ketone will have lower boiling points over alcohols. Okay? Kasi alcohols, they can do hydrogen bonding, but aldehydes and ketones, they cannot. Okay? Kasi yung hydrogen natin, hindi siya sa oxygen nakadugtong kay carbon kasi. Okay? So, yun. So, they can do dipole-dipole interaction. So, for example, we have here similar carbon chain of organic compounds. So, ito, puro 4 na carbon ata to. And tignan niyo yung difference niya when it comes to boiling point, no? Parang ang gulo pala na itong table na to. So anyway, so let's take a look into eto na lang. So butanol and butanone. Okay, so butanol is an aldehyde. Okay, and butanone is a ketone. Okay. Sa nomenclature nyo, makikita yung alpha-thione, which will be in the lab. Okay. So, yung butanal and butanone, medyo magkalapit lang sila ng boiling point. Why? Kasi para silang may carbonyl carbon. Okay. Kaya medyo magkalapit yung kanilang mga boiling point. No? Maybe the only difference is that yung positions ng carbonyl na it can actually affect the boiling point, but very minimal lang. Okay. So in our case here, butanal and butanone, similar lang sila halos, 4 degrees lang yung difference. Okay. But if you compare it with with this one, propanoic acid. Okay, so tandaan nyo, kapag propanoic acid, you have a carbonyl and then may OH ka pa. So, kumbaga, dalawang forces of attraction agad to. You have a dipole for the carbonyl and dipole and hydrogen bond for the OH. No? Kaya tignan nyo na. For propanoic acid, 141 yung boiling point niya. Kasi may hydrogen bonding doon. Okay? But if you're just limited with carbonyl, then medyo bababa yung boiling point mo. Okay? So, yan. Kasi wala silang hydrogen bonding. Okay? Tignan nyo rin. This one is butanol. Okay? So, this is an alcohol. And because of just that OH, ang laki ng difference niya compared to butanol and butanone. Okay? So, ang major difference lang is the boiling point. Okay? So, yan. Kasi may OH yung alcohol, which can perform hydrogen bonding. Very strong yon compared to dipole-dipole of aldehydes and ketones. Okay? So, ganun. Okay, so again, aldehydes and ketones have similar boiling points. Of course, there will be some variation depending on where you place your carbonyl. But the idea is medyo similar sila sa boiling point. Okay, kasi same lang naman sila ng carbonyl carbons. Okay, but if you're going to compare it with something that contains OH, then talo sila. Okay, kasi OH is much stronger. Therefore, it will have higher boiling point. When it comes to solubility of aldehydes and ketones, they are soluble in water. Okay. However, they tend to be insoluble if your carbon chain increases. Okay. Para lang siyang alcohol, di ba? Kapag onting carbon chain lang, soluble in water. But if there's a lot of carbon chain, a lot? No, what I mean by that is more than 4 yung carbons mo, doon na siya nagiging insoluble in water. Okay? Why? Because the dominating force of attraction will be the London dispersion na. Pag puro carbon na yan, London na yan, no? Mahina na masyado yung polar side niya. So yeah, it will tend to be insoluble in water. So for example, we have here pentanal would be more soluble in water than octanal. Why? Kasi pentanal, pent, 5 carbon, octanal, oct, 8 carbon. So, since octanal, 8 carbons yan, mas maraming carbon chain niya compared to the pentanal. Therefore, mas magiging insoluble yung octanal kaysa kay pentanal. Okay? So, tandaan nyo lang na the longer the carbon chain, the more insoluble it tends to be because of the increasing London dispersion forces. Okay? So, yan. And if you have larger larger carbon groups, then most probably they will be more soluble in nonpolar solvents such as benzene or hexane. Okay? So, ganun lang. So, the greater the carbon chain, the more nonpolar it is. Okay, and these are the reactions of your aldehydes and ketones. 4 lang sila pero medyo maraming mangyayari dyan. Okay? Basta ang kailangan lang is yung mga basic idea lang about the reaction. Of course, we will not discuss the reaction in our time. Rather, this will be covered in the lab na lang. Okay? So actually, tapos na tayo. Wala na akong maisip. So we are done with chapter 9. So what will you expect sa quiz dito? Kasi super easy lang na. So probably, you will be given several items na mag-identify kayo ng aldehydes and ketones. Don't worry, I will give you a practice quiz ulit na. By the way, nag-upload na ako ng practice quiz ha. So yan, I already uploaded practice quiz for the previous chapter. So galingan nyo na lang. Okay. Ito yan. So yan, may practice quiz na kayo for chapter 8. Plus lecture siya. Ay, sorry. Plus lab kasi may ibang topics dito na galing sa lab na, especially nomenclature. Pero walang nomenclature sa ating quiz. So what to expect here, ano lang, yung pag-identify ng functional group, if that is alcohol, ether, thiol, or amine. And then, of course, yung boiling points na kailangan alam nyo sino dapat mas mataas yung boiling point. Obviously, that's alcohol, followed by amines, and then ethers, then lastly, thiols. Okay? So, yun lang naman yung kailangan nyo ma-practice. And all of them are in this practice quiz. So, similar thing will happen for chapter 9. Don't worry, I will also upload a practice quiz on this. So for chapter 9, may practice quiz din tayo pero konti lang kasi aldehydes and ketones lang naman to. Okay? So ang expect nyo na lang sa magiging quiz dito next week will be yung pag-identify if that's alcohol, aldehyde or ketone. Just remember, kapag yan ay aldehyde, it should be a carbonyl connected to a hydrogen. And if that's a ketone, that is just a carbonyl connected to two carbon groups at the end. Okay? And of course, the examples of aldehydes and ketones, no? And their physical property and their boiling point and solubility. So, dun lang iikot yung ating quiz, no? As in, super onti lang talaga niya. Okay? So, with that being said, we are actually done. Now, baka may question kayo. Kasi, hanggang dun lang talaga tayo. Ang reactions ay sa lab, okay? So, yun. Okay. So, yun lang. So, again, expect nyo na lang yung pag-identify kung yan ay carbonyl or aldehyde. Maraming items siguro na ganon. And then, yung physical properties. Okay. So, yun. That will be the end of chapter 9. Okay. Ibig sabihin, ito na rin yung end ng ating synchronous session for the entire semester. Okay. So, next week, it will be asynchronous. Ibig sabihin, I will upload the recording on chapter 10 and then you will watch it na lang. Okay? Yan. So, that is for you also to prepare for the finals, no? Kasi finals is fast approaching. Okay? Tandaan niyo yan. Finals is fast approaching. So if you look into the calendar again, para guided kayo, dito na tayo eh. So, yan. Dito na tayo sa week na to. And then next week will be, ito yung chapter 10, pero asynchronous na lang. Most likely, Sabado pa lang i-upload ko na yung for chapter 10. So, you can watch it agad. Okay? Dito yung ating chapter 10. And then, ito ay finals week. Dito kami mag-upload ng grades. Tapos ito, Pasko na. So, onting urong lang. January na. Okay. Tapos 17, ito usually yung pasukan natin. Okay. Birthday yun ng kaklase ko. Si Abigail. Ayun. So, ayun. Do you have any question, clarification? Don't worry. By the way, again, meron tayong bonus quiz ha. Okay. Ito, we have a relevant question. Kailan ang face-to-face? So, yeah. There was a memo about conduct of face-to-face. However, Ito, however, I think their priority will be the higher years. Okay. For lower years, online pa rin tayo next semester. Okay. Pero yung higher year, there's a chance for them to conduct the classes on face-to-face. Okay? Ayan. Ayun na. So, yun nga rin kasi, no? Kasi if they announce na lahat agad sa FEU mag-online class, ay sorry, if lahat sa FEU mag-face to face, no? Yung iba kasi nasa provinces, no? And then yung iba nasa abroad, no? Sana all nasa abroad. Ayan. So if suddenly they say na on ano tayo face to face, medyo malaking logistics problem yan given that our situation right now is kind of tedious, no? Lalo na kapag about documents yan, 'di ba? Kailangan mo pa ng RT-PCR, no? Quarantine. So, yun. Medyo hindi kaya. So, yun. For lower years, online pa rin kayo. But for higher years, there is a huge chance for them to go back to campus. Um, Kaya again, I'm encouraging everyone to use this time. Total National Vaccination Days tayo. Starting today until I think December 1 ata. So yun, use the time na para magpa-vaccine na so that baka next academic year, August next year, mag face to face na and magkita-kita na tayo eventually sa biochem. Okay? So yun lang. So next sem online. So see you again sa January na lang. Okay? Pero may asynchronous pa naman tayo. Okay? Um, Siguro here are some of my tips na lang, no. This is not related to the discussion, pero here are some of my tips, no, about the conduct of phases online. Sorry, face to face. Syempre, most of you might need to find a dorm if that happens. Marami namang dorm around FEU. Marami rin namang condominiums, no. So it's up to you. Okay. Maraming options done, and if you are going to commute, you really have to be familiar, no. Don't worry, FEU is very near to key travel key transport modes, no, such as LRT. Pagbaba mo ng Recto, andun ka na. Actually, kahit sa Legarda, bumaba ka, pwede ka maglakad papuntang FEU. So, yan. If you want to use jeepney, then maraming jeep doon. If you want to use bus, marami rin. Gusto mo UV, marami rin. Okay? So, you really have plenty of options, no, to go to FEU. Pero kapag maraming taong FEU, pag maraming tao sa FEU area, ayan, medyo mag-ingat lang. Kasi recto yun eh. Walang sinasantong yan eh. Walang sinasantong students. Pero bumaba na naman yung mga incidents ng nakawan. Dati kasi uso talaga yung nakawan, pero recently hindi na. Okay? Kasi hinuhuli na sila. Yan. Pero you don't have to worry that much kasi usually kapag face-to-face classes naman, there will be police na naka-standby checking kung may mga magna. Okay. Mga magna. Okay. So yan. Bahain po ba sa FEU? Not really. Okay. Yung FEU side hindi siya binabaha. Okay. Ang binabaha lang yung underpass. Ang Espanya, yun binabaha yun. Okay. Pero yung FEU side, based on experience, parang never ko pa siya nakita na binaha talaga. Okay. Ang binabaha is yung yung nasa tapat ng FEU na tulay. Teka, let me just ito hindi na to kasama sa quiz syempre. Pero lang, I'll share din kasi malapit na rin naman kayo mag face to face. So, ito yung FEU, Far Eastern onwards. Ayan. So, ito yung FEU natin. Ito yung medyo binabaha kasi pailalim to eh. Okay? So, yan. So, ito, ayan. Kasi malalim yan. Kaya binabaha talaga yan. Ito yung FEU nyo. Ayan, the Far Eastern University. Ayan. Ito lang yung part na binabaha, but yung taas hindi siya binabaha. Okay. Ayan. And then, ito yung UST. Baka maghanap kayo ng mga ano dyan. Ayan, UST. Ayan. Ito yung FEU. This is Nicanor Avenue, Nicanor Reyes Street. FEU Tech, kung may mga friends kayong engineering. Ang mga dorm dyan, super dami, especially in this area. Okay. Dito rin, maraming dorms dyan, and dito sa Dapitan and here in Lacson. Okay. Yan, dito maraming dorm. Marami din kayong magiging friends probably. So hopefully, pag nag face-to-face, dumami circle of friends nyo kasi maraming university near FEU such as the UST and the National University somewhere here. And then, of course, the other universities in UVL such as UE, San Beda, okay, San Sebastian, CEU dito, okay, and all the other universities there. Okay. So hopefully ma-enjoy niyo yung face-to-face na. But basta pa-vaccinate lang kayo, then most likely kasi next academic year, ano na tayo, face-to-face. I'm also looking forward to it. Kasi nakakatamad na mag-online class. Ito yung itsura ng FEU pag sa labas. Maraming students dyan. Okay. So, itong takip na yan, wala na yung takip na yan. Okay. So, this is the FEU administrative building. Ayan. Tapos sa tapat, maraming, may mga Starbucks. Ayan. Hangin. Ito yung, very weird, no? Kasi, sa labas ng FEU, ma-pollution. Di ba? If you've been to Recto, yung amoy niya, medyo weird, 'di ba? Pero pag nasa loob ka ng FEU, hindi mo mapapansin na nasa Manila ka pala because everything smells nice. Wala kang maamoy na off sa loob ng FEU, mabango. Tsaka super lamig na. Unlike kapag nasa labas ka ng FEU, dito okay pa yung amoy dito, walang mabaho dito sa part na 'to. Okay? Pero pagdating mo dun sa bandang Isetan, nako, mapanghi na mausok, sakit sa ilong. Okay? But if you are in FAU, very nice yung smell niya. Yeah, maraming puno din sa loob na. Ayan. So, tignan natin kung may Google Map sa loob ng FAU. Magganito na lang muna tayo kasi last synchronous na naman natin. Okay. Ano to? Ayan, so ito yung ating satellite view. Very green yung paligid talaga ng FEU. Okay, so ayan, ito yung Lovers Lane daw. Paggabi, maraming mag-partner dyan. Okay, pero maliit lang Lovers Lane compared sa UST na mahaba. Pero sa UST, sinisita ng guard. FEU kasi andyan na yung guard, ikaw na lang mismo may hiya. Ayan. So, ayan, maraming puno. Andito yung Christmas tree parate. Nung last na punta ko, may Christmas tree na ata. Okay. Ito yung NRH. Ito yung NRH. Ito yung ARH. Ano ba to? I don't know what is this. Ito yung chapel. Ito yung Eduk building ata. This is the tech building. Admin building. Nursing. Senior high, alam naman ng mga senior high yan. And of course, science building. Ito yung ating pinakatahanan sa FEU. Ito yung pavilion ba yan? Ayan. As dito, kayo magdo-WRP. Ayan. Maggaganong-ganong kayo for ilang hours. Tapos i-judge kayo ng mga taong dumadaan dito. Dito yung kainan. Pati dito rin. Okay. This is the amphitheater. Sa likod niyan, andun yung statue ni Dr. Nicanor Reyes, founder of FEU. Ayan, so basta kapag nasa loob ka ng FEU, very pleasant yung experience. Okay. Okay. Kumbaga sa UP mas maraming puno na. Pero yung smell ng UP FEU medyo same lang. I don't know. Siguro kasi na sanay na yung ilong ko sa usok ng Maynila. Pero pag nasa loob ka niyan, parang walang kausok-usok. Okay? Dito, HEPA lane, meron dyan, meron din dito. Okay? Yung mga kalalakihan na nagyoyosi, yan, dito sila nakahilera. Ayan. Okay? At yung mga dorm, ayan, nandyan sa paligid. Okay? So, yan. So, ito yung mga kaibigan nyo from UE. Ito, UST. Malaki yung UST. Yes. No? Pag magpapaskuhan, makipag-friends kayo with UST people. Ayan, dito yan. Okay? So, yan. Ayan. So, hopefully, one day, ma-enjoy nyo yung experience sa FEU. Yung mga sa FEU na nag-senior high, enjoy na nila yan. But I hope kayong mga new sa FEU, hopefully ma-enjoy nyo rin. Okay? So, kita-kits na lang dito sa science building na ito yung dito yung mga chem lab dito sa side na to. And then yung biology, I think 5th floor ata siya. Okay? Or 6th, I'm not sure. Okay. Basta ang chem lab 4th floor. Okay? So, yan. Ayun lang. So, for now, magpa-vaccine na lang muna and then hopefully we'll be able to see each other in face-to-face by next academic year sa August. No? Face-to-face ay malaki yung chance ng face-to-face for higher year, pero kapag lower year hindi. Okay? So, okay lang. So thank you again for the experience. No? Another set of students na na-stress sa akin. But hopefully you learned something na. Okay? And so there will be online classes na ng next sem. Okay? So again, thank you for being with me for this semester na, and I hope na may mga natutunan kayo which you can apply in other subjects such as Anachem, Biochem, and other specialized subjects. No? Okay, so hopefully in the future you will be biologists, researchers, or doctors. Okay, so kita-kits na lang next time, and pero hindi pa to yung end ng classes natin. Ha? May asynchronous pa tayo. So sige. So thank you and bye-bye. Na. So that will be all for chapter 9. So chapter 10 will be posted this Saturday. Asynchronous tayo. Okay. So yan. So see you na lang and ingat and bye-bye. Always stay safe and get yourself vaccines. Ha? Sige. Bye-bye. Ingat.